This is Łaznowska Wola, in German Grünbach, and here we have an abandoned Protestant cemetery, and one of many in this area. And this area, of course, was a battlefield from 1914, so there are also military graves here as well from that time. And this is located to the east of Łódź, so from the center of Łódź to here, it's approximately, what, 22 kilometers, something like that. Anyway, so let's have a look at the cemetery. This cemetery was actually cleaned up. That's to say that they took away some of the vegetation and all the rest of it. Now, of course, it has been abandoned, but this cleaning up operation did actually spare some of the stones. Here we have a cross. It's now, the wood's now rotten. You can see how big it was. And you can see that sometimes, I presume this is from the 1st of November, so people, locals, may come here and leave the candles burning. Now, I'm going to take you to the very back here, where we have some military graves from the First World War and the fighting which happened around here in November 1914. Now, it's very difficult to actually read what's on these things. There we go, that's Max Meyer, and November 1914, I think that's what it says. Yeah, it's 4. It's November, and that would have been the date. And below that probably his unit, and or could be where he comes from. So we have here, these are, I think that's, yeah, Unteroffizier. And so this part of the cemetery was used for the military deaths, and here we see drei russische Krieger, 3 Russian soldiers. Was it zwei? Don't know. But anyway, 2 or 3 Russian soldiers. And I think that's a 4, 1914. Well, as I know, that was when the battles took place. Similar military graves. So this cemetery has been abandoned since the last Germans in the area left, which would have been at the end of the Second World War. Now the Germans came here, people from Germany I should say, or what is today Germany, or even for that matter what was Germany, started to come here mainly 18th and 19th centuries. Here we can see now it's got a grave here, which would have been, it would have had a metal railing around it. You can see above, we've got the crosses, probably were crosses up here, which were removed. There we have the year, so died on the 4th of May 1877, aged 42. 1870, age 64, 1904, at the age of 75. However, sometimes people come here and they repair them. And so here we've got an example of a grave which is in excellent condition. Not only that, it's written here, it's written in Polish, so it's Jan Samuel Patzer, He was 64 when he died on the 10th of 10 lutego, the 10th of February 1904. Pokój jego duszy, rest in peace. And we have below it a poem written in German. So you've got people who they knew both languages, and which would have been quite common at the time, and so they would have seen both languages. You use one language for one person and the second language for someone else. There are volunteers who look after these graves sometimes, and they come along and do it, but bear in mind this is work which they have to fund everything out of their own pocket. So if they have to do repairs, then they pay for that themselves. Now in the far corner here we know there's a mass grave of German soldiers from the Second World War, what would have happened during the offensive of January 1945. The weather is freezing, Soviet troops pass over by, let's say, around April, when it's a bit warmer, or maybe even March. They've got dead bodies lying around, so they bring them somewhere like this and put them in a mass grave, and that is in this corner here. And nothing's happened with this, they're still there. Here we have a very curious grave. There's a couple, Louise, born 7th of February 1885, and her husband Julius, born the 17th of July 1864. So there's 21 years difference between the two of them, but they died 1 year short of each other in 1943 and in 1942. And this was put there by the children. Hier ruhen in Gott unsere lieben Eltern. So here lies in God our dear parents. That is not a very good translation. Sorry, it's word for word correct, but it's not the way you would translate it on a professional basis. And I'll show you this here. This is quite curious. We have this incredible, well-kept grave. We can read about it. So 17th of July 1863, died, born 22nd of October 1802. You can see the skulls and everything. Here is part of the grave which has fallen off, but this, I don't know, oh it's okay, it's not too heavy. That would go there like that, and somehow it needs to be stuck back on again. Indeed, perhaps I shouldn't leave it there. I want to put it down here so it doesn't fall off and break up into any more parts, although I think it's clear that goes there. And this grave here, so 1833 and 1890, but here we have at the bottom, it's like an artist signs his works. Here the artist is signed, so that is from the Puchan family from Łódź, noted stonemasons who did the work on this grave.